Alright, hello everybody, it's 444RR with an interactive teacher trick today. I'm actually going to do an interactive magic trick, then teach you how this is done. It's a really cool little trick. So, we're going to use a $1 bill. Now, I've been working on something called origami. And if you don't know what origami is, it's the ancient Japanese art of paper folding. And I'm going to fold this into something as we're working on this interactive magic trick. So, I'm going to go ahead and put this down here and start folding this paper. And here's what we're going to do. Step number 1 in this magic trick is name any number bigger than 10. Really, any number. And if you have other people in the room with you, keep your number a secret. That way, you all can play along together. Any number bigger than 10, as long as it's bigger than 10, it doesn't matter. You can use any number. Now, add all of the digits in your number together. Add all of the digits in your number together. And subtract the total of your digits from your original number. Subtract the total of your digits from your original number. Okay. If your answer is more than one digit, add the digits together until you arrive at a single number. So if your answer is more than one digit, add the digits together until you arrive at a single number. And now you should have a single number. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to associate some animals with some numbers. So if your number is 1, I want you to think of a dog. If your number is 2, think of a cat. 3, think of a teddy bear. 4, think of a giraffe. 5, we'll say a bat. 6, we'll say a mouse. 7, we'll say a grizzly bear, which is different than a teddy bear. 8, I want you to think of a unicorn. 9, think of a butterfly. And 10, I want you to think of a fish. I know 10's not a single digit number, but just think of a fish for 10 if you have 10 as your number. Okay, so hopefully I did this right. If I did this right, I have folded the paper into your animal. I hope this is right. Let me see if I'm right, and my prediction is a butterfly. That's about as close to a butterfly as I'm going to get. But there we go, a butterfly, and your number was 9. All right, so if this worked, if it didn't work, you did something wrong with the math. But if it did work, then you should have gotten number 9, a butterfly. So let me teach you how this is done. First thing you want to do is get a dollar bill, and you want to Google how to fold a dollar bill into a butterfly. And because I don't remember the exact way to do this. I learned how to do this about 2 years ago, how to fold a dollar bill into a butterfly. And I can't remember the exact steps. You can Google it, though, how to do it. And it'll teach you online how to do it. And the cool thing is you can make a lot of animals out of dollar bills. So if you don't want the if you don't want the final revelation to be a butterfly, and you find out how to, like, fold the dollar bill into another animal, you can certainly use another animal. But the butterfly is the easiest because it takes $1 bill and all you do is fold it. So once you have your butterfly made, this goes in your back pocket. All I did, though, because I'm not wearing any pants with pockets right now, I just had it in my hand, and both my hands were underneath the counter. But we're going to say over here is my pocket. We're going to say right over here is my pocket. There we go. Okay. So here are the steps. First thing you want to do is you want to borrow a dollar bill. It's a lot better to borrow one because after the trick's over, somebody may say, oh, well, that's a fake dollar bill or something like that. But if you borrow somebody's bill, then they'll be like, hey, wait a minute, that was my bill. So how did he do that? So also, I just grabbed this dollar. It's a little bit too old. You want kind of a crisp dollar bill from somebody, but not something that's super crisp, but not something that's super worn out like this one is, where the face is not even visible. Because notice the difference between the $2 bills. This one looks a lot crisper than this one does. So try to find something that's sort of crisp, but not, not nothing that's so worn out where it's got tears and wrinkles in it and things like that. And if you get one that's got like a big tear going through the center of it, then you could say, oh, well, I need to fold this. We're going to do some origami. So can I get a different dollar? And that's the way you can kind of hone in on that and get a crisp dollar bill. Okay, so the steps are super simple to remember. All you do is you just have name any number bigger than 10. This will always work if the number is bigger than 10. So it has to be 11 or more, basically. You don't want them to choose 10. It will still work with 10, but you want it to be a big number. Say something like, don't think of don't think of like 10 or 11 or 12, because that may be too easy. Think of some number that couldn't possibly know. It can be 3 digits or 4 digits or 5 digits. You can tell them that too. So they can choose some really obscure random number that you couldn't possibly know what they've chosen. Tell them the bigger the number, the better, because then, it looks more impossible if they use a 3 or 4 digit number, because then they'll be like, wait, my number was so big. How did he? Okay. And this will always work too. So if you have a crowd of people, have everybody play. Don't just do this to one person. If you're in a room with a bunch of people, like at a party or something, you want to bust this out, you can say, everybody think of a big number. Don't tell each other's number though. Very important. You don't want them to say to each other what their numbers were, because they may figure out how the trick works. So you want to say, everybody think of a number. Don't share your numbers. Keep your numbers to yourself and follow my instructions. So they name any number, they say any number bigger than, they think of any number bigger than 10. Then they're going to add all of the digits of their number together. So if their number is, let's say, 22, they would add 2 plus 2 gives them 4, obviously. So the second step is subtract the total of your digits from your original number. So they would subtract 4 from 22. So that would be 21, 20, 19, and 18. So 18 would be the new number. Now, of course, 18 is a 2-digit number, and that's where the second step comes in. So the fourth step is, if your answer is more than 1 digit, add the digits together until you arrive at a single number. So the number they got was 18, so they would add 9, or 8 plus 1 is 9. So it would always come out to be 9. So after that, now, let me go back to the beginning here. You take the dollar bill and you talk about doing origami. At this point, you take the dollar bill and put it behind your back, and the butterfly is in your back pocket. So you pull you swap out bills. So this bill, let's say this is my back pocket right here. I would reach in there, grab the butterfly, and put their dollar inside of the back pocket. So, and then what you say is, you have this behind your back. I'm going to try to get this on camera, and you're pretending like you're moving your fingers and holding your hands and folding that bill. And you can even, if you want, can kind of make a little crinkly noise with the dollar bill if you want, just to make it seem like you're folding. Or what you can do, and I do in some situations, is I have the dollar bill behind my back, and I don't switch it out until the very last moment. That way I can kind of crinkle their dollar up like this to make it sound like I'm folding it. You don't have to. That could be a little too much proving. I don't do that all the time. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. But also, if you're worried about the angles, because this is really angle sensitive, nobody can be behind you. If there is somebody behind you, what I like to do, if you know there's going to be people behind you, is I will just take the dollar and I'll just kind of, with my fingers behind my back, pretend to fold the dollar. I'll just kind of pretend and do that. And then at the last possible moment, I'll switch the dollar out at the last moment. But let's just say I've switched the dollar out right at the beginning of the trick. So it's in my hands. I'm kind of holding it like this. Again, sometimes I cover up and I put both hands like this. It's up to you, personal preference. So you go through all the steps. Name any number bigger than 10, add all the digits of your number together, subtract the total of your digits from your original number. If your answer is more than 1 digit, add the digits together until you arrive at a single number. And then you'll arrive at 9. So they have 9. Everybody in the room, if they did the math correctly, should have 9, if they did the math correctly. So at this point, all you do is, it's acting at this point. So now you're going to say, okay, we're going to associate all the single digit numbers with animals. So, and at the first part of the trick, you want to name off the animals kind of fast. So you want to say like, and you can make up whatever animals you like for the numbers. I like to do a lot of outrageous animals. Like sometimes I'll say a lion, I'll say a bear, a grizzly bear, I'll say a giraffe, because it's going to be more interesting if people, as you're listing off these animals, are going to be like, huh, and if you have a big crowd of people, when somebody may be thinking, what if somebody has number 4? I'd like to see a giraffe. That'd be really cool. So, you know, so just name off some really hard animals that'd be hard to origami. So you name off animals, and I usually just name off random animals. So every time I do the trick, the animals are different. So I'll go like number 1's a dog, number 2's a cat, number 3's a fish, number 4's a bird, number 5 is, and then by number 5, you kind of take your time and you kind of think of some animals. So you want to take your time thinking because you want to be like, number 5, let's say, we'll go a teddy bear. Number 6 will be a grizzly bear. Number 7, let's say, is a monkey. Number 8 is number 8 will be a lizard. Number 9, you want to make whatever your force animal is that you use with your, whatever your preset animal is. So on this instance, you'd say, number 9, let's make a butterfly. And we'll just do 10 for the heck of it. Let's say number 10 is a unicorn. I always like to throw the unicorn in there. I don't know why, I just do. So afterwards, normally if there was a spectator here, you would say to them, okay, so my origami animal is done. So here's what I'm going to do. Open up your hand, and I'm going to place the origami animal into your hand, just like this. And if this was their hand down here, I take the origami animal, load it into their hand, and then I place the other animal, boom, directly on top, just like this. So my hand goes directly on top. And then I say, okay, for the first time, my prediction's locked in, my animal's locked in. What was your animal or your number? And they'll say butterfly, or they may say number 9. I'll say, number 9, the butterfly. All right, let's open up your hand and see what it is. It's a butterfly. Take a look at that. And then normally what I do is you have their dollar bill in your back pocket. So what I'll do normally is, I don't do this trick that often, but when I used to do it, when I did it a long time ago, I would say, and you get to keep this butterfly as a souvenir. Because you have their dollar in your back pocket. So you can go home and fold up this dollar bill into another origami butterfly. Now, if you're walking around and you're doing table hopping, let's say, you can pre-make a bunch of these butterflies and do this throughout the night. And you can just keep collecting people's dollar bills. And then you'll have a stack of dollar bills in your back pocket. So you'll have enough dollar bills to replenish what you gave out. So let's say you make 5 of these. So you have enough to do this 5 times when you table hop. Then you can hand out these origami butterflies 5 times, and you'll have 5 $1 bills in your back pocket, so you can go home and make more of these origami butterflies. And I do like to give these out for souvenir too, so because it kind of, people don't, you know, it's kind of neat to see an origami something or another with a dollar bill. I know somebody who folds shirts into dollar bills into T-shirts complete with a tie and everything, and I think that's kind of neat. My uncle has one of those, and it's really neat. Every time I go over to his house, I always see the origami T-shirt. So he won't give one to me though, because he only has one, and you know he can't get the guy to make him another one because the guy lives in another state and he hasn't been back around yet. So, but it's really cool though to see people make origami things out of dollar bills. So you can hand these out, like I say, for souvenirs. I'm going off on a different tangent, but you can hand these off as souvenirs, and it's really cool to see a dollar bill made into a butterfly. It's something cool that people will probably keep in their wallet or in their on their refrigerator or something like that. And the cool thing is, this origami dollar fits inside your wallet. So you can pull this out of your wallet and have this ready to go at any time. So it's something that if somebody asks you to see a magic trick, as long as you remember the steps, and you can borrow a dollar bill from somebody, you can do this at any time. So it's really cool. So that's the origami butterfly magic trick thing. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow. I have a jack, and I also have 3 10s. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the jack and we're going to sandwich it right in. Of course, you get the 2 tubes, and you get a certain amount of bottles. Let me grab one of the bottles. Shop Till You Drop, hosted by Pat Flynn. One of my favorite modern one of my favorite